Hi, my name is Megan, and this is a Naughty Mess Knitting Podcast. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 13. We're going to do all the regular things this week, except for I still don't have a finished object and so many deadlines, but we're going to talk through all the projects. I have a couple of really fun acquisitions and a lot of WIPs. I'll give you guys an update on the baby birthday. Yeah, not tons happening over here. Maybe a shorter episode, but the acquisitions are fun. So there's a lot of things to cover and to look at, which will be delightful. So let's start with what I'm wearing. This is an old to me sweater. So this is called the Chella Chunky Sweater, and it is a pattern by Lanre, Ojikutu, who is La Knits Apparel on Instagram. She, I've tested for her a couple of times, and she released this pattern really early, like maybe in February of 2022. I tested, and I made 3 of these. I made actually one short sleeve version, like for some reason I was like, oh, it'd be like a good transition t-shirt thing. It's chunky yarn. Like I've never worn it. I wanted to do some like, what I really wanted is I wanted to like practice some embroidery on a shirt, and I figured like chunky would be an easier thing, slash I still wasn't really making like, I wasn't making fingering weight garments in 2022, in the beginning of 2022, so it was a pattern I had, and I was like, I'll make another. I don't think I'll ever wear it on the show. Like, I just honestly have never worn this thing. Maybe I will just embroider on it for fun. Maybe I will frog it. Who knows? I have a couple of things that, as I'm like going through episodes and like, okay, I'll go through all of my knit things before I repeat, probably. But there are a couple of things I'm like, I don't want to wear that, which probably means I need to just get rid of them, frog them, or something. Maybe we'll do that in an episode. A fresh start to 2024. Okay, so this I finished in February of 2022. I have a bunch of coworkers who live in El Salvador, and I was on a trip down there, which it's hot there all year round. So in February, it was still hot. But I brought yarn with me because I was in the middle of this test knit, and I actually made a yellow version. I'll ask her if I can pop a picture up, but I have a yellow version that I did make for one of my coworkers. She was my manager at the time, and a very lovely human and totally a knit-worthy friend. And Lanre needed some extra of the larger sizes for testing, so I made her a larger size. I think it was like a 4 or a 5X, but I will put up a picture because I did a duplicate stitch chicken on it. She has chickens at her house, and something that she really loves, and so I made her a chicken sweater. Anyway, the version I'm wearing is the size extra large. It's supposed to be a 47-inch bust, and the recommended ease is 1 to 2 inches, but let me tell you, this is definitely bigger than 47 inches. I mean, maybe just like relax after I knit it. I think I was pretty close, you know, but also I don't know how I measured this or how accurately I did at the time. Anyway, I used 6.5 millimeter needles, which I think is the recommended needle size. And this is made out of 2 colors of Lion Brand Hue and Me yarn, which is a collaboration yarn with Alexi Tavel of Two of Wands. That's actually how I found her, because this was like 2020, 2021. Still mostly shopping for yarn at Joann, some de-stash shopping, but like not heavily, and not even heavily like other online yarn stores. And Joann's had this, and I was like, what is Two of Wands? Like, what does that mean? It's like on the label for this. And then I think I found her on Instagram, and this was like at the time when I still wasn't even like heavily Knitstagramming. Now I'm heavily Knitstagramming. So and these colors, blah, 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 this is made in Peacock, which is the blue, and Salt, which is the like pretty white, off-white color. Okay, so let's talk about this sweater a little. Let me put down the device. Okay, it is a long sleeve, puff sleeve-ish situation. It's pretty simple. It's a raglan-ish. I mean, it's a raglan, but it's like a boat necky raglan. I don't really know what the neckline is. This is what hers looks like too. It has this close thing. Part of this is there's not a lot of back shaping, if there's any. I can't remember. I didn't like go back into the pattern, but I don't think there's much like neck shaping, which is why it like sits. And that's actually one of the reasons I don't wear this a lot. Like I would wear it if it sat here, but like this, I wore it today at work, and I was like, was doing this the whole time. I don't want to be playing with my sweater, but I like it's touching my neck and I don't like that. Anyway, the sleeves I also made, well, like when I'm standing, they're a pretty good length. When I like move, just because it's a dense and also not flowy fabric, they like pull up a little bit, but it's okay. And they have like the cuffs and the neckline and the hem are all in garter. Yeah, so this is it. It does, I mean, it has a little bit of ease for me for sure. Maybe not tons. But yeah. I do really like this color though, this like bluey, it's almost like a heathery bluey gray. It does have that much of a lightness, like a light halo, like in real life. Let me see if I have a ball of it real quick, because I didn't write down what the composition is. This is, it's a bulky weight yarn. It's 137 yards for 125 grams. And it is 80% acrylic and 20% wool. That's kind of what I figured. So, you know, it'll survive the apocalypse or whatever. Like this acrylic will last a long time. It keeps shape well. Again, this was an early foray into garment making for me, and I think it's so valid to make a couple of your first garments, which likely will have mistakes, probably fit issues. Even if you pick a great pattern, the consistency of your tension, learning new skills, short row shaping, also learning how you like things that you make on your body. They're not the same. I think it's so funny when I wear non-handmade sweaters, I often don't even think about the fit that much. But when I wear my hand knit things, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish the sleeves were a little longer. I wish you know, like, because I made it and I know how it was constructed. So I think you need to give yourself that grace. Like, you're going to feel those ways and have different kinds of opinions on things as you start making garments. And so, like, I know some people hate acrylic. I'm not an acrylic hater. I think it has a place. There's also, it's budget friendly. When you're making things you may not love entirely, but you know you want to get there, it's a great option. You know, a sweater quantity of Hue and Me, even when you need like 7 or 8 balls, is still like $45 or something, $50. It's much more affordable way to do that. I don't hate a chunky sweater. I just don't gravitate towards this a lot because of the neckline. I do wear it. I wore it a couple of times last year, like just because it was cold in my office. And I was like, I'm gonna wear this and I'm gonna wear a scarf and then it won't bother me because I have my whole neck wrapped. But will I keep it forever? I'm not entirely sure. This would be like a good donation one too, because it's easy to care for. Like you can throw this in the wash. It pills, but not terribly so because of that acrylic. So it's a candidate for that. We'll see. As I continue to make really beautiful things I love, it's not that I don't, I loved this at the time that I made it, and I at least learned something valuable while I made it. So it's got fond, I'm not attached to it, but it's, you know, I feel still fond of it. Do I want to keep it forever as I make more beautiful things I actually want to wear and I don't want this to just languish in my closet forever? Maybe it's something I get rid of. We'll see. Seattle always is also, there's so many charities looking for warm clothing all the time. So if you're over here, I mean, I'm sure any city does, but we have a lot of homeless people here. Mike and I donate coats pretty much every year because fit other things, you know, and coats, socks, sweaters are always things that they ask for. So let's talk about WIPs. I have a lot. Why do I have so many WIPs? Why? You guys, it's not even funny. I swatched for another thing, which I will actually cast on. I'm like 2 days late. I'm probably the last person to cast on right now. But we're doing a knit along with another friend group, which I'll talk about in a minute. And I also just told Maddy Mo that I would do another test knit for her, but it's a super casual and it's a pair of socks. And I'm actually really excited about it. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to use. So, and it's exciting. Okay, so let's talk about the Ashling, because that's the test I have to do for Maddy Mo right now. This is, I'm going to try to keep this section again like a little bit short because I don't have a whole lot of progress on some of these. This one got good progress this week. So I did pin down the collar. I have not tacked it yet, but I did try it on with a sleeve and I like it. It's fine. I'm going to just sew it down. And I'm going to do that loosely and carefully. So this beautiful sleeve is almost done. I think that the cuff is like it's really your choice. Like she kind of says 2 inches or more, make it to fit, blah, blah, blah. I have one more set of decreases to do before the cuff is the right number of stitches. And then you do like 1 decrease at the cuff anyway. And then I probably, like, I tried it on and it's like sitting here-ish right now. So that's like, I think I measured and it was like 3 3/4 inches or so from where I'd want it to end, like right at wrist length. Like I don't want it to be longer. And I want my cuff to be maybe a little bit longer than 2 inches. Like I might want to do closer to a 3-inch cuff. And so I'm close. That's where we are. I tried it on though with the sleeve and I'm telling you, this thing weighs almost nothing. Like I think I have almost 3 balls in here now. So it's like, it's 150 grams. Like this is nothing. It feels amazing. But every time I lift it up, I'm like, that's not a sweater. So let's do real quick details. That's the Ashling sweater by Maddy Mo, who is Momer01 on Instagram. Test is due November 12th. So timeline wise, I'm doing okay. As long as I really crank out the next sleeve like this weekend. And I kind of was thinking because it's so I kept calling this a drop shoulder sweater and I don't think it is. I felt like from the pictures it looked like it was, but this is a set-in sleeve. Like the sleeve is here. But I don't know if I got that from the description or if I just like looked at the pictures and I was like, oh yeah, that's a drop shoulder. It's not. Anyway, it's a size 5, 48-inch bust. The recommended ease is 3 to 8 inches, positive 3 to 8 inches. I am a little bit under that. The recommended needle size is 3.5 millimeters for the body, 3.25 for the ribbing. Those are what I'm using. This is Back Loop Yarn Co. Surrey lace in a custom colorway, which is periwinkle-ish. It's 74% baby Surrey alpaca and 26% silk, 328 yards for 50 grams. And again, the 12th. Let's think about this timeline, everyone. I wrote some notes to myself to make sure I would have it done and washed before next week's episode so I can wear it hopefully, but also because I need the pictures to be done well, you know, like at least before publishing, like the weekend. I don't know that she's on such a tight timeline to like release them. Mostly her style has seemed a lot more chill than some designers that are like, you know, like you feel like they're engines, like they're constantly cranking out new patterns, which puts Tess under a lot of pressure. I don't know if anybody here also follows Autumn Goodman on Instagram, but she's got a size inclusive patterns Instagram page now, and she's like posting all the size inclusive patterns like that she can find. She does have like her definitions of size inclusive. It is an important aspect to me as a maker and a tester to test and make size inclusive things. But what I was going to say about this is part of what she has been posting lately is like for testers to, it's kind of like speaking up for all testers everywhere, you know, saying that 4 weeks is not enough time to make a sweater, which I concur, especially for bigger bodied people, that also doing like part of a body and one sleeve for a larger size is not an accurate fit test even, let alone, you know, an actual test of the entire garment pattern for that size. Mistakes could be made anywhere in a pattern. And that, you know, like just more time is better. And I appreciate that because, yeah, I have signed up for test being like, oh, that's fine, I can get it done. Anyway, I've loved testing for Maddy because it's been pretty chill. She gave us a super long timeline. She's really, really understanding if you need to move things or dates. I think she didn't set like a pressure cooked date, like I am going to release it 2 days after testers are done. Partly because I don't think that's very smart. You need to take in everybody's comments. There have been some pattern changes already, which has been great. I actually just sent her a note about the bind offs not being the exactly the same between the front and the back, for making sure that that works out and people don't get confused for at the shoulder, or just like the edging, the last row before you do a 3 needle bind off. But yeah, so I've had a great time. So the new test I signed up for is with Maddy. So it's super chill also. Okay, let's talk about I did this in a weird order, but I'm gonna do this one next because this is the other test. I guess that's what I was thinking. So that's the Ashling. I said I was gonna be quick and then I just rambled for 5 minutes. Okay, this is the Daft Days shawl. Let's see how this is growing, y'all. It's so cute, actually. I was really uncertain about putting this is in the so I bought this as a destash, this 50-gram skeins. It's 7 50-gram skeins fade, Arctic Solstice fade, I think, from Treehouse yarns last year. And I, of course, like at some point just pulled all of these out and then shoved them back into the thing, and I didn't keep them in order. And so I had them like one out of order. Like this one was going behind the oranges because there is like a more tealy color that I thought that this faded into nicely. I went back and looked at the pictures on Ravelry of people who also had this fade to see, and they're all in a different order. So then I laid it back out and I was like, I guess so. It would probably be nice and less like startling to have something with more orange in it before you have like an entirely orange ball, because that'll be the next color. And I think that's, obviously this is true for anything. You don't really know how variegateds are going to knit up, but you especially don't really know how they're going to fade, like what they're going to look like between two. Will it be enough? So this is 3 colors. There's this really icy, let's see if that, okay, so there's really icy blue here. Then there's this is the awkwardest color to me. It's like there's some tan, some sandy colors, and some like almost yellowy bits inside of, but not orange, right? Inside of a bluey gray. I don't know why that, like, it doesn't quite fade though as well in my mind, but that's okay. I mean, I didn't design them and I think they look great together, so what do I know? And this really pretty, I actually really like this color. Like this is like the most warmth I would like in a color. Is it just gonna never stop trying to focus on that yarn up there? Anyway, this is, yeah, this is almost like the only the warmest color I'd like to wear is like a little bit of orange and this tealy color with like gray, and it's pretty. But I really like the stitch pattern. It's super, super easy to do. It's easy to tell if you made a mistake, so you can like, you know, drop down and fix if you need to. It's very mindless. You know, once you get going, like you get 4 or 5 rows in and you're like, okay, I don't need to look at anything. So that's good. I am in color 3 of 7. I'm almost done color 3. So this is also due the 20th of November. So I got to get moving because shawls only get bigger. But this has been my desk project. Actually, I had tons of meetings yesterday and I was just on calls like all day, and I didn't have my video on, and I was just taking some notes, but knitting away, and it was really great. So hopefully I'll do some more of that next week. Okay, so that's the Daft Days shawl. This is going to be an Advent pattern that Rebecca Clow puts out end of the month, because it's almost Advent season, everybody. So, and the intention behind this pattern is you can knit it however you want, in 1 color, in 2 colors, in a fade, in stripes, right? I mean, whatever you want. So the testers have really done all of the various ways. There's like 1 or 2 people that are already done who've done like a variegated or slightly color changing contrast color, main color, or really just 2 colors. The main color being like some solid. Someone is doing a 24 mini fade, which is really looking gorgeous. And then like I'm doing a slightly larger fade, and a couple of people did, like someone did a 4 color fade with like also 50 gram balls, I think. And that also looks really nice. That one's done too. So I'm going to get cracking, but it's nice to give the option. So for an Advent pattern, you could do it as your main color, and then she has it, like the size is for 24 stripes, but also with the knowledge that you can do more than that, right? I'm going to end up with more repeats than that. I'm going to grow it a little bit bigger, partly because she wrote like just size-wise for her, she would have liked it to be a little bit bigger, and my gauge is just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit smaller stitch-wise. And so I'm, you know, that'll give me a little bit more length, which would be nice. Plus it's for my mom, and I want something really cozy for her to be able to wrap up in it. She's watching TV. I am using, though, also this is wild because I've done a couple of Rebecca patterns and I have not had like a gauge issue before, but I have not done any fingering weight patterns. She doesn't have that many fingering weight patterns. And this one, she recommends a 3.25 millimeter needles, and I got close to gauge, but still slightly under on 4 millimeters. And I was like, I can't go up, because then they were like stretching stitch wise, and I was like, nope, really close to gauge, and that's what I'm sticking with for 4 millimeters. And then this is Treehouse Knits Winter Solstice Fade. What did I call it? Anyway, Arctic Solstice. It's Winter Solstice Fade from 2022, and it's Sequoia sock. The colors are Glisten, Light the Way, Arctic Dust, Fallen Leaves, Last Rays, Juniper, Winter Solstice. And that, I think, is the actual color order. So I'm through Glisten, Light the Way, and Arctic Dust. That's kind of a fun color. It's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 200 yards for 50 grams. So like a plump fingering. Okay, let's go on to the Phaedra. Phaedra is also coming along nicely. This again is a test knit for Back Loop Yarn Co. and it is due November 17th. Like I have to get it out in the mail no later than the 17th. I of course want to get it done at least a little bit earlier than that. I'm gonna shoot for about a week earlier, so she can have it in hand on the 17th, because that's about how long it takes, maybe a little bit less, to go across country. So this is the Phaedra by Audrey Borrego, who is Yarn Flakes on Instagram and YouTube, and it is a bottom up, oh, let me grab it, a bottom up cable front, drop shoulder, split hem sweater, and it is made with 1 strand of fingering and 1 strand of Surrey, or mohair, I guess, fluff, period. Okay, I don't think I really even had a stitch marker on here. I don't remember if I had split for sleeves or what. Also, like, you guys, this was a really crazy weekend for me. I like intermittently knit like 2 rows of things, and then that was all the time I had for a lot of the days. So I feel like I have no progress, but also I just like didn't move progress keepers, or I took a couple of them off and then didn't put them back on. Who knows? So I don't know where I was on this. I think I had already split for front and back, but hadn't done that much of the like I remember I had done some of this like 4.5 inches before you split for the neckline. So this is awkward because I put it on a barber cord. I just didn't want all these stitches across the back while I was knitting, and I didn't feel like finding another actual needle. So I had barber cord next to me, and that's where it is. So front, right and left are done, including shoulder shaping, which is actually, you know, it's a good number of rows to do it actually, which is going to be really nice for the drop shoulder aspect, right? You do really want this to be higher than, you know, the end of your shoulder. And so it's very cute. This is the size 2. Let's remember what it is. 43.25 inch bust. Recommended ease is 7.75 inches. I'm using 3.75 millimeter needles for the body, 3.5 for the ribbing, which is what's recommended. This is Back Loop Yarn Co. Since it's a sample for her, obviously it's her yarn, in Basic Sock and Surrey Lace, both in the colorway Ghouls. Basic Sock is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards, 400 grams. So same exact composition as the Sequoia, and 74% Baby Surrey alpaca, 26% silk, 328 yards for 50 grams. Ghouls is part of her Burr collection, so all of the Burr months, September to December, they're ready to ship on her website. She's also doing a sale right now, like a pre-Black Friday sale, so I think it goes until Black Friday or until Thanksgiving. It was like the 25th, I think. I don't know what day of the month that is. Guys, I don't even know what today is. I'm gonna call it probably Thanksgiving is what it goes till. Anyway, so go shop on her website now and get all these beautiful things. I am going to. I don't need yarn, but I'm going to, because I have a couple of things I want to make. But I'm gonna get this color from her with my sample yarn, sample yarn payment. Anyway, I'm really loving it. You can see the dot motif happening here on the side pretty well now. It just looks like little bloops. That's what it's supposed to look like. It's just like a fun pattern interruption. It is nice. It's nice. It's cute. Okay, so I picked up the back yesterday and I did like a couple of rows. I basically have to just knit like 6 or 7 inches, do a couple rows of back shaping also to mimic the front. And then, you know, 3 needle bind off them and get to the sleeves. I'm going to do that as fast as I can. But I'm done all of this, and that's great. It feels wonderful. Feels amazing. I really enjoyed the chart, but, you know, it was still a chart. It still takes a lot more concentration. It's not a zone out and watch TV kind of thing. So, what do we have next? We have the other thing with the self-imposed deadline. Those are the outside deadlines. Self-imposed deadline is for my socks. Where are they? These are the Miel socks by Melissa West, who is Fox Fig on Instagram. I'm doing a size, I think it's large. It's 72 stitches, and these are for my mom. This is my Farmer's Daughter Fibers yarn from October. Yes, it's November 3rd. These need to be done and posted by the 7th midnight into the Farmer's Daughter Fibers Ravelry group for finished objects for October. I have not missed a month. I have done this 9 times this year. Gotten them done in time, mostly in the first couple of days of the month after, because, you know, I got other things going on. I am really going to be to the end of the wire knowing that I have like sleeves and other things to knit. But I'm having a good time. I did make this pattern as a test knit like a couple years ago. I think it was my first ever sock. Like ever sock. And it was a really good pattern to learn on. I did the shorties when I made them for myself, and I still wear that pair of socks. These are the classic, so it's slightly different. The back is different. There's like in the leg detailing, there's some like little cute rib detail. I have a string in the way. It's cute. And then this front, I don't know what business this is, honeycombish thing is very cute. This one has a completed gusset. This one has a started gusset. Just because you're purling in your gusset, which actually I've never done before, and it's really cute. The heels are different on the two socks. Like, actually, a lot of it is different, just the front pattern is the same. I decided I was just going to do one and then the other instead of like half and half, or trade off every some kind of rows. I did it to pattern. I didn't have any issues. So I was like, okay, hunky dory, keep going. So I'm going to try to get these done in time. So another thing I need to get cranking on. What I will say is this weekend, I don't have any plans. I have no plans, and I am going to bask in it. And the house is very clean because we just had a party, which I guess people might have to clean up after a party, but we kept it pretty simple, so it wasn't bad. What else do we have in here? Oh, do I have to tell you anything else about those? Oh, really quick. I used 2.25 millimeter needles, which I think is a recommended size. It's my Farmer's Daughter Fibers October, which is called Long Nosed Bat on Pintler sock base, which is 75% wool, 25% nylon, 463 yards for 100 grams, and it's a 4-ply. Let's talk about the superlative sweater. We do have some progress there. Let's see, where is that one? Here we go. I have a ball of yarn attached to a stitch marker. Okay. Why is that open? Dangerous. Okay, guys. I did some stuff this week on this, not like a ton, but I have a collar. It's so cute. And I have cuffs. 1 and 2. And I think last week I was like right at the cuff. Like I was like, oh, I'm kind of at the end. God, this color is everything. It's so gorgeous. It's so cozy. They look so nice. And then I think I added like 3 or 4 body rows. That's really it. I do actually have a progress keeper on this one, but it's like in the middle here. Yeah, I added like nothing. But now that I'm just at body, this is a good, like mindless knit, and may move down to be the next week's desk knit. Because as the shawl grows, I can't keep doing that at the desk. Anyway, quick details on that is a superlative sweater by Samantha Guerin, which is a new-ish release, like sometime early last month. It is a top down drop shoulder relaxed fit boucle sweater. I'm knitting the size 6, which is a 52-inch bust. The recommended ease is 4 to 8 inches. I chose the larger size, even though I just said this, guys, I don't really love super big oversized things. But also, that's not true for everything. It really depends on the drape, etc. But this is like a sweatshirt feel, so I wanted a sweatshirt size, which I usually wear a little bit larger. This is made with 3.75 millimeter needles for the body, 3.25 for the ribbing, which is actually what I used for the ribbing. Both yarns are Explore Knits and Fibers in colorway To the Stars Who Listen, which was the collab color with Red Door Fiber Studios ACOTAR, which I say that like everybody knows what that is. ACOTAR is the acronym for A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is a book by Sarah J. Maas, which became like some phenomenon for some reason. I mean, I know why. I read them. I thought they were great. oh, it's a series we'll talk about eventually because there's going to be another book or several. And I'm a big Sarah J. Maas fan. I have read everything she's published, which is not so many books, but it's 3 distinct series, and they're so good. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about ACOTAR, and I always tell people, if you love the getting to the love, like a little bit of angst, figuring out a lot about yourself along the way, yada yada, those kinds of love stories, this is a good one. The first book is a little bit misleading because it seems like an insta love story. You have to read the next one in order to understand the full scope of what is going on. And I love it. Anyway, so that is Boucle DK, which is 100% superwash merino, 240 yards for 100 grams, and the Rockies DK for the collar and the cuffs so far, and that is 100% superwash merino also, and it's 274 yards for 100 grams. That is the superlative, and on to, I don't even know, you guys, I don't think I added anything to the Leith, so we're going to skip that this week, but and that's all the projects I have cast on. So that is a place, that's a place I am. Let's talk about 2 upcoming, gosh, I don't even have one, I have 2 upcoming test knits. One of which is an acquisition, and one of which I have yarn on hand and has the nice long timeline. So let's talk about the first one. So these are called the Kettle Chip. Yeah, they're called the Kettle Chip socks, I think, or Kettle Potato Chip socks, something like that. Potato chip being like, you can't just eat one, you have to eat multiple. Kettle, like potato chip knits are supposed to be things that you just like want to make on repeat. For a lot of people, that's like a vanilla sock, and that's basically what this is, but it's targeted to self-striping yarns. So there's an afterthought heel, there's contrasting cuffs and toes, and she talks you through how to kind of do those so your socks match, which is really cool. I read through the pattern today. It looks very self-explanatory, and she gives inside the pattern both a toe up and a cuff down option, which is amazing. I think I'm going to make them cuff down. I love a toe up sock. I haven't done one in a little bit, but I think I want to do cuff down. So let's look at the yarn for that. Sorry, I had to let the dog out of my office, and then she smacked into the tripod. So I don't know if I'm like, and she like really pulled it. She like got stuck on the cord. I don't know. I think we're good. Okay. Sorry, dog interruption. Okay, so the way that this, so it's a self-striping sock pattern, right? So the only self-striping sock yarn I have, and the reason I signed up for the test knit is like Maddy posted something on her Instagram, and of course I follow her, and it was, you know, a cute pattern, these socks, and I was like, oh, you know, I would love to join basically a casual knit along, because this sock pattern is probably 100% fine, but I'd love a little guidance on how to like make matching self-striping socks, and I have not made any self-striping socks yet. So what I wanted to show you is the yarn before I cake it up, so you can see how gorgeous all these stripes are going to be. It's so fun. There is a little bit of this like really dark, I mean, it's black to gray in there too. It's very Halloween-y. I almost wish I had started these like last week. I just got the pattern today, but I may look, I have some black yarn. I'm going to take it out of here so you can see it also pre us scanning this beauty up. But there are 2, so this is 100 grams, but it comes in 2 separate little skeins, which I think means that they will match up, right? And I just need to, you know, wind them and make sure that they do, because part of this pattern is like, I mean, and I suppose you probably just cut off if you're like one color, you know, it starts one color off or something. but you do it in the same sequence, and then you know, end in the same place, and with an afterthought heel, you get to cut like right in between two, in between a stripe to put in your heel. I'm not entirely sure of my contrast color, though. I do think I mean, I have black, and it does call for 2 contrast colors, but I have quite a lot of this yarn. And this was a leftover from the Moonset tee, and it is gray. It's called Basalt. It is a Yarnaceous color for my Yarnaceous sample, and actually really close to the gray that is in here. Yes, this is a 4-ply, this is a 2-ply. I know some people think that's like sacrilegious to mix the bases, but I find 2-plies to be hardier. But when you use them in the same project, especially if it's the contrast color, like, you are not going to notice. I am not going to care, and they're going on my feet, so what do I care about anybody else's opinion on that? I'm really excited though. They're so pretty. Like, how vibrant. I mean, they're such Halloween colors, but they're so vibrant. Oh, the colorway, by the way, this yarn is called White Birch Fiber Arts, and it is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon, 2 skeins, 50 grams each. They're 200 yards each, so 400 total. It is the color Once Bitten, which, again, like, vampires. I mean, this is like new age, you know, witchy colors, right? Like, I don't remember witches getting fun, like the acid green and the purple, whatever, but like, that's Halloween decorations these days. Acting like I'm an old lady, but like, you know. Okay, second test that's going to get cast on this weekend. I'm going to do my swatch. I think I'm going to be a good citizen, as other people have done, a lot of the testers, and I will wash my swatch for this one because of the way the fabric may behave, especially because I swapped Surrey for the mohair in this pattern, and this is the duotone, of course, and my yarn arrived. Do you guys want to see it? I'm so excited. It's gorgeous. So I had the absolute hardest time picking colors. I spent part of knit weekend when we were away. This was the weekend I had to use the tester discount if I was going to use it. Yes, I have yarn in my stash. No, I didn't want to use any of it for this. I have not actually bought yarn for like any other test this year. So, and there have been a lot of them. I think that's true. So I treated myself. It was a good discount to ZZ Textiles, who is working with Rachel Costello, also Rachel, with Rachel Costello, like, as a collaboration for this pattern. Not everybody in the test used ZZ Textiles, but I think more than maybe was even expected, because this is really, like, these are really normal bases. I like to, sometimes be representing the cheaper options, but this is just a 100% non-super. I got the NSW fingering. This is a non-superwash, but it's still a 400 yards for 100 grams fingering weight skein of yarn. It's very easily replaced with cheaper options that are readily available, like in LYSs or online. So it's another reason why I felt like, I didn't need to be representing any other kind of options. I just want to make something pretty that I really want to wear. And this is Baby Surrey, and it's 74% Baby Surrey alpaca, 26% silk, 328 yards for 50 grams, just like the Back Loop Yarn Co. Composition of the yarn, which, as it always is, it feels like the nicest, softest thing you ever felt in your life. I love Surrey. I also actually enjoy wearing a mohair sweater. I know some people think that's a fib, but like, it doesn't bother me. I do feel like I'm more aware of it than putting on something that has Surrey, like, I have a Surrey scarf, right? So that's like the thing that would be around my neck. The Ashling is my first all Surrey sweater, which also I don't think that that's a more newer thing to do, an all Surrey sweater, 1 or 2 strands, like the Cumulus blouse or whatever. But I I've now made or am making 2 Surrey fingering weight sweaters, and not for me. So I wanted my own Surrey fingering weight sweater, like Surrey plus fingering held together. It makes a gorgeous fabric. It's super, super soft. I wanted the non-superwash from Rachel, not only because it's a pretty nice feeling non-superwash, but that was what I used for Sarah's Whitmore. And I liked the structure of it. And I think, you know, I don't make really small garments for me. So with the drape and stuff, I wanted something that will really keep its shape. So I got the colorways ink and leather. And it's like so fun. They definitely have a color contrast, obviously, which was the point. And they're not exactly the same like tone or anything, so they're not going to get lost on each other. They're going to really be duotone, which is the name of the pattern. There's a couple of testers that are doing like a much more muted palette, closer to each other's colors, more complementary, less, you know, drastic of a difference. And I think they're going to be beautiful also. That's kind of the nice thing, is like you really could do anything you want, but like that's what drew me into this pattern, was having those totally different colors next to each other. The pattern, again, the picture I've already put up is of Rachel in a mohair version. Mohair and Surrey do not look the same in a fabric, right? They definitely, there's more coverage of this, which I'm okay with. I really love this color, and having the pop of the dark, having the dark in the neckline, like that's, it's all the contrasting bits. Your cuffs, your collar, your hem are all only in the ink color, and the little ribbing piping detail. It is knit bottom up, I believe. She haven't even read the pattern yet. I like glanced at it the other day, and then I was like, I don't have time for this. So I'm so excited. Though it's going to be great. I am going to do my swatch. I'm going to wash it. I'm going to make sure everything looks nice, and I really like it. The nice thing about the swatch is she also has you do it across the pipe, so you can see, you know, how much this will stand out together, which is really fun. And also, like, it's going to make me more excited to start the knit. Okay. The other thing that's going to get cast on, and I already did my swatch for, and you guys, this is a lazy person swatch, but this one is just for me, and also I don't care. It's good enough. Good enough is sometimes good enough. You remember these gorgeous, gorgeous cones I bought the other week? So much yarn. So each of these cones is 500 grams. That's a lot of yarn. I mean, these are heavy. So this is 1,000 grams. They're 2,500 yards each, which makes them double. It's 2,500 yards. I don't need 2,500 yards for this project, but I needed like 1,600 or like a little bit less than that. And so if I held one double, it was going to be like 1,250 something. Not quite enough yarn. So I needed 2, and I decided, you know what, that's also easy. If I'm going to hold it double, then I don't have to pull and skein. And I think there's supposed to be 2 places you can pull the yarn, but I tried to pull from the other string that's at the bottom, and I was like, maybe I'm not yanking hard enough, but also I'm just going to use the 2. I'm going to use the 2 skeins, or 2 cones at once. So this is the fabric. Gosh, it's pretty though. The color looks so gorgeous. This is 100% merino. It's got a really nice density to it. This swatch is using 4mm needles. I needed 22 stitches across. And I believe I'm at like 21.5, which is good enough for me. Also, because I decided to size down for this. The recommended ease in the pattern is the Calm Down Cardi by Lily Kate Makes. It is a knit along we're doing. The knit along is with Pacific Knit West, which is my knit group of friends, and the San Francisco Knitting Ladies. I don't know if they have a name for themselves. But it's a group of gals who all live in the Bay Area, like not in, we actually talked about where we were living the other day. They're more spread out than we are here, our knitting group. And they are, I think maybe Sylvan was friends first or something. And we have a couple of them also have podcasts, I think, at least Shreya does. I think Sharon does too. And yes, all this to say, we have knit friends in another West Coast city here. And at some point, somebody was talking to Sylvan, I guess, about the doing a calm down cardi knit along, and we said we'd love to join. So it was really, really fun actually. On Halloween, we did a little Zoom cast on party, and that was really fun. I have not actually spoken to any of them like face to face, and so that was really nice to meet everybody. Shreya and I Instagram chat a lot, and I will like post, I love, they have great, all of them have like really great aesthetics and like really great pictures. They all also test knit, so like getting to see new projects they're working on, new patterns coming out. It's been a really fun little you know, near but online friendship. And so there's no deadline for this. I think everybody was trying to finish up sometime in January. It's a longer term knit along, because this pattern is a lot of yarn and a lot of stitches. So it is a top down saddle shoulder cardigan, v-neck cardigan. It's actually constructed very similarly to the Skyline pullover, which I just finished for Tori Knits. It's a smaller saddle, but it has that also continuation down of like ribbing in the saddle and ribbing down. And I think you might even do like the front first, then the back, but whatever, it's the same kind of construction. And what else do I have to say about it? Oh, what size I'm making. So I decided that I would be making the size 4, which is to fit a 40 to 42 inch bust, but it's got 10 inches of positive ease. So the finished bust of that garment is 51.5 inches, which y'all know, I'm gonna tell you this, I don't want to be drowning in my cardigan. I saw tester pictures too, and some of the larger sizes, it just, like, I'm sure it's what they knit and they wanted to knit, but it looks like too baggy. And because I'm doing this solid color thing, even though it's a very fun color, I didn't want it to like look frumpy. And like the way that the fit is with like the drop shoulder and stuff, I was like 51 inches is going to be plenty like roomy. I'll be able to wear stuff under it and not feel like it's too tight or I can't button it and not look too frumpy. So that's what I decided. Anything else to say? I don't think so. So because I did my swatch finally, everyone else, like we did a cast on party on the 31st. The first day of the knit along was technically on, it's like I'm acting like it's a real thing. It's not a real thing, but we set it for November 1st. So I really wasn't ready on the 31st. Also, I had my friend Liz in town to visit, and I hadn't seen her in a while, and she had never met Theo. She lives in New York City. And she was here on the 31st. So like I was, you know, we had trick-or-treaters coming. I had a friend here. We had just had dinner late, and I was like, hi everybody. It's so nice to meet you. Okay, bye. I didn't cast on with them, obviously, but I will be doing that this weekend, more just so I have it started, because when things are started, I'm less likely to continue to put them off. I will be like, oh, okay, great. That's something I can work on for a little bit here and there at least. As I have so many projects that I just keep adding more. This is 10. That makes 10 projects actively going once I cast these other things on. I actually think so. Because I have until the end of the year to do the self-striping socks, I'm just telling you guys this, not that it has anything to do with anything right now, but my plans are to get things done is the ashling has to get done very, very soon. The Phaedra also needs to get done about the same time. And the socks have even less time if I'm going to get them in this timeline. And by golly, I'm going to get them done in the timeline. So I'm going to have a fully knitting weekend, and I will not actually cast on anything. Maybe other than the Calm Down Cardi, because we start with this teeny tiny piece. I think I might just feel accomplished if I get the ribbon done. I'm not kidding. It's like a this big piece by like this big, and I might just get that done to call it started. But like I'm gonna cake up some yarn, and that will also make me feel good about the start. And then I'll get all of those projects done this weekend, or at least like mostly finished this weekend, and I'll actually cast on the thing. So like I will do the swatch, I'll wash it, and then that is also like the thing that I did just to get things cracking. That's all. Okay, let's talk about the other acquisitions I have. So the ZZ yarn came on Monday, so that was very exciting, so that I can cast that on. The timeline on that is also really good. Like I have until I think January 4th or January 4th, I think. I was gonna say I have time off of work, but we do have time off of work, but I am working on a project. Like my whole company has the last week of the year off, but I am working on a project in which we may not be done and ready for a January 2nd launch. So I might have to put in a couple extra hours, but I'll get that time back. So I'll use it towards knitting later. I'm sure I'll have so many beginning of year projects that I'm gonna need it like 1 week later. Okay, this is, oh, I just opened, have not looked at it yet, but someone did put a picture, someone I'm following put a picture of like on the 31st, which was fine. It's not really like we all received the yarn by then, but I hadn't opened it. I got this on, maybe I had this one on Monday and the ZZ on Tuesday, regardless. This is my Farmer's Daughter Fibers Sock Squad. So this is November's color. I have one more coming to me, and then I'm done for the year. And I'm likely not going to do another subscription next year, partly because I have so much yarn. And I want to work through some sock sets I have that I really, really love. But I've already been making so many socks, I'm like, I can't do this. And some of these sock sets that I have, or, you know, sock sets or other individual skeins, I would like to make for other people. But this yarn was my birthday present from my husband to me last year, and I just want to make most of them for me. I've already given away one pair, and this next pair will be given away to my mom, but yeah. Anyway, here it is. I didn't look yet. I also forgot to look at the, oh, it's right here. I'll tell you this first. This is, oh, it does not have the name of it on here, but I mean, the name's going to be on the yarn, but it's a pretty little flower. I don't know what that is. Does anyone know what that is? I'll tell you. Cone flower. I mean, it does look like a little cone on there. So it's a cone flower, and this looks like some sort of bee. I don't know what that is. Some sort of beetle or bee. I don't have my... You guys, I feel discombobulated today. I don't know where the calendar is, so I don't actually know what the pollinator is. I'll put it up on the screen when I'll find it sometime later. But this is cone flower, and it's November. It is Rocky Mountain Pearls, which is 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon, 400 yards for 100 grams. I love this base. It's a 2-ply. I've had such a great time working with it, and I love this color actually. Not an orange girl for my wears, but I will wear orange socks for sure. Look how fun that is. It's very fall harvesty, these two colors together. Like, that is yummy. Also, look how fun these little dots are. I'll find a good spot. This one here, like, you can really see the speckles are this like bright pink, and like a purpley black. Some of that might actually be black. Some of this looks a little bit purple. This looks like black right here. That's fun. This is really different than any we've had like a yellowy color, but this is definitely more orange than that. More like of that pumpkin-y orange there. That's fun. I love it. Okay. I need to find a pattern for these and probably cast them on at the same time I cast on the self-striping socks, because I still have to get these done in November, and it's already November, everybody. So I'll leave myself like 3 weeks to get them done. I don't know what pattern. I'll have to look through my library. I have some patterns I haven't made. This is pretty fun though. And this mini is a really nice color to add to my mini group to start my minis project also soonish. Maybe having a little bit of project overwhelm, but I'm really excited about the things I'm going to cast on. I just need to finish the things I feel like I've been working on forever. This is my second week not having a finished object. I'm not really like upset or mad about it. But it does feel right now like I've got some lingerers, and that is totally a personal thing. I finished the friendship sweater in 3 weeks. I've finished some other sweaters in 3 or 4 weeks. And right now, everything I have on my needles, I cast on either the very beginning of October or like sometime in September. And so it just feels like everything I've been working on forever. It's not true. I've been getting a lot of knitting done. But this week, especially because I didn't feel like I made very much progress on stuff. I mean, I knit that most of that sleeve, and I worked on everything a little bit. But you know, it's not a race. I mean, it is when there's deadlines. But yeah, I don't feel like defeated by it, I guess. I just feel like I'd love to get a little finishing mojo and get a couple things done and then like refresh. Also get some needles back because I don't have any. I like had to take, that's what I did to do just this swatch. I had to steal the 4mm needles from the Leith cardigan, and I have like 5 sets of 4mm needles because it's the one I feel like I use most common. I don't know where the other ones are. I mean, like, I have one, the Chow Goos are on the Cinnabar, but I have like 3 sets of knit picks, and like, where are they? I have no idea. Nothing else is using them, I don't think. 2 other acquisitions. I have one that is some lovely fiber I got on Erin's D-Stash Instagram page. She was having a little sale and I saw this fiber and it just was, it looked so nice. And also new things for me to try. So this is a super fine merino. The colorway is called Icy Iridescence, and it is hand dyed by Your Fibery Godmother. Oh my gosh, how good is that? We love that kind of name. Okay. Yeah, icy goodness is right. Like it almost reads a little bit more yellow on camera than it is. It's pretty like creamy white. But it's got these blue and pink and slightly, I mean, this is like a yellowy patch, right? So yellowy green. I just think this is gonna spin up to be like totally pastel beautiful. And super fine merino. So that'll be something I will wait a few months because that's gonna be slippy. I didn't even spin at all this week. I put the spinning wheel in the corner because of the party and getting everything sorted for the people and having Liz over, and I haven't pulled it out. And I think I'm probably gonna spin a little bit tonight just to keep learning, keep growing. So this other braid I took out of the bag so you could see it better because it's so pretty. How good is that? Purple. It is like a chocolate brown. And sage and blue. It's another Into the Whirled, and this is called Overtime Contingency Classic. It was the September 2023 color. So I think Into the Whirled has like a fiber club, monthly fiber club. And this one is Falkland. And so it's new, but it's colors Erin didn't want. And so I said, yes, please. I would love that. Okay, let's go through our last very big acquisition. You guys, how annoying that I was like, oh, this is gonna be a short episode, and it's already an hour. I think it's already an hour. I just paused to grab this yarn, and I like looked at the timestamp. I was like, golly. Okay, I don't have much more to go over, but this is a big acquisition. So I think I mentioned, sorry, I have a hair like stuck on my nose ring. I think I mentioned last week that I have a viewer who is now a friend, Bex, who reached out to me on Instagram, and we just like started having a conversation, and then she asked if I'd ever be interested in doing a yarn swap. She lives in New Zealand, and it's really hard. I know this, like people in Europe too, like it's so expensive to do like pre-orders, especially if you're not getting a lot of skeins, like the shipping to get American hand-dyed yarn, right? So a great way to do it is if you have a friend who can like collect some for you, maybe if you do pre-orders and then ship it to you. But you got to make those kinds of relationships, right? Also, we decided to just do a yarn swap so she could try and touch for herself some American hand-dyed yarn. And she sent us both commercial and hand-dyed yarn from New Zealand, which is so fun. The things she sent were amazing. So I totally, like, my bad. It was raining on our last knit night, which was not last week, but the week before. I was going over to Katie's house, and I just like, for some reason, I had all the time in the world until I was leaving. And then I was like all discombobulated and had this sitting by the door, but took the other car, which is in the garage, didn't grab the yarn, which then I got all the way to her house, which is not far from me, but it was raining and I didn't feel like driving home. Got up into the house and I was like, oh my God, I forgot the yarn. So we were going to do it the next knit night, but I couldn't join because I forgot I had a friend in town and, you know, all this stuff. So I called them last night. We did a FaceTime and I opened everything. I told them how squishy it feels. We're going to divvy up the yarn. So we each we like picked a certain number of skeins that we were going to send because, basically shipping also, you know, Bex told us how much she sent. We got together what we wanted to send her and we sent, and we did that like equal-ish number from each of us. So we'll split this relatively equally. We just, they want to squish them also before deciding. Although the very first thing I'm going to pull out is going to Sylvan because this is Sylvan's spirit color. If any of you guys follow her on Instagram, you'll see that she likes to make things with pink yarn. So here is some very beautiful pink, Sylvan pink yarn. It's so pretty. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So this is 100 grams. I also really like, it says this, 100 grams net at standard conditions, which is actually something that I've heard, like if you're in the desert, your yarn weighs less. And I think it's just like, cause there's no moisture, right? And like things just, everything has moisture, but when you have much less moisture in your air, they will like dry out a little. Like the fibers don't actually dry out, but I think they just end up weighing a little less. Something I've heard once. That's an anecdote. I don't know how it all works. Okay, but this is a 3-ply. It says Fine Romance 3-ply dip. There is a piece of paper in here, and I did not ask Bex yet what this meant. I forgot to ask her, but there's a piece of paper that got stuck in here, and this is called, I think this is related to this specific one. It says that it's Skeins, which it's SKEINZ, which is so amazing. It's a natural yarn store in New Zealand, and it's says that this is a Surrey alpaca and organic merino, and it comes in a collection of 3 soft gelato colors, which, like, that's fun. It's a fingering weight, 60% Surrey alpaca, 40% organic merino. What else? Premium Surrey alpaca grown in New Zealand, but the organic merino is grown in Western Australia, and it is milled in their own Napier mill, which I assume is someplace in New Zealand. So super fun in that bag. There are 4 skeins of this very, I mean, and it's that alpaca, like it feels heavy for 100 grams, like just because it's little, but it's like, it's dense and it's like, look how floppy that is. It is drapey. And then we've got this little guy, which is some sort of 2-ply, like maybe lace weight, or fingering weight, like light fingering. It's really skinny looking. And then this, which I think is like a mohair. It looks more like mohair than Surrey to me, just like with how you can see how much of like the, like, let me show you. This is why I say that. Because next to a Surrey, like, look how much more you can see, even on camera, you can see, bloop, the definition of the silk strands so much more than you can on the Surrey. And like, that's not just because of the color. Like, I have to like search for them to find them in the Surrey. So I'm gonna say this is some sort of mohair. Obviously we're still gonna look through this, but this seems like the most Sylvan of colors. When we told, we had like, I did some online chatting with Bex about colors, and funny enough, her colors happen to like really align with the combo of me, Sylvan, and Katie. So we're the three that put into the box. Sylvan is a pink girl through and through. She also likes neutrals, but like the cool neutrals. I obviously like blues and greens. I like dark neutrals, also cooler neutrals. And Katie loves greens and purples and also some pinks. I think she will use. So we've got lots, and teals, you know, all of those things. So we've got lots in here for the rest of these yarns that fit, you know, us well. So this one is 2 skeins of hand-dyed yarn from Rachy Knits, or Rachy. It's R-A-C-H-Y, which could be like a Rachel, like a good nickname for Rachel. Anyway, these are 357 meters for 100 grams, which is like, it's 100% superwash merino, which 357 meters is like 400 yards almost, maybe. In this really pretty color that's like, it's a soft blue. The whole thing is like an icy kind of soft blue with these orange, blue bits, speckles in it, brown, orange, blue. It's really pretty. Yeah, so that's a fingering weight yarn. We have 2 skeins of that. Then we've got 1 skein of this called Dream Fire Artisan Yarns, and this is a one of a kind. It's a merino DK twist on twist, which actually I want to talk about this one because I feel like you'll be able to see it in the camera. It's 200 meters for 100 grams, which is like 220 yards. So, or maybe 230. Anyway, you guys, meters to yards math is hard. It is a really pretty like baby pink with some yellow in it. Okay, but what I want to show you is like, you can see that. Look at that super high twist. I have seen other yarns like this. I actually don't know that I have many of them in my stash, but it's just like, it's like they're extra fine strands, like super plied. And they create a really nice fabric. I've seen things made with this kind of yarn. And so, yeah, this is a fun base, this twist on twist. So something fun to even try just texture wise. Oh, what did this say for? Well, it says merino, so I'm assuming it's 100% merino. It doesn't actually say on the skein, on the label. Okay, so this is actually one that, Bex told me about. Like, one of her favorite hand dyers is called Mama Wooling. So this is a Mama Wooling 2 minis. You can see her cute little logo. These are plush fingering, 85% extra fine merino, 15% nylon, superwash, 437 yards per 100 grams. And we've got these like, okay, let's look at the colors. so vibrant, this blue. Like, that's the best color. I really love it. And then this one has definitely that same blue in it. But also kind of like that, like, it's not even, it's like a yellowy green. It's got red bits. Like, it's a very primary colors, actually, this little mini. It's super fun. I might steal these ones. I think they are great. Oh, I need to show you the last thing that's inside the other bags. Okay. Hi there, this is Editor Megan, and of course I absolutely forgot to talk about the little things that were included in our amazing yarn haul from New Zealand. So Bex included these beautiful little stitch markers that are also progress keepers, and they're so cool because they have both a jump ring and a lobster claw. So I'm so excited to be able to use those. We will split those up, and also she hasn't even talked to Katie or Sylvan, but she absolutely picked the most perfect pins for each of us. And so I'm going to be so excited for, you know, us all to put those on a knitting project bag. And these very amazing little New Zealand made shell buttons, and they're super pretty in the light. Like, they really catch a ton of light. So fun. Skeins. These are Embrace 3-ply, which is 100% alpaca. 100 grams, 378 meters, which is 400 and something yards. Dry, flat, and shade. I kind of like that they put that in there for the description. So these two are the same. Yeah. And this one is called Breeze, and this one is called Embrace. Oh, I read it Embrace 3-ply. Like, that's the type of yarn. Those are the colors. And we have got they're like baby colors. This is a baby blue. We've got a baby pink. The tones in this one, actually, let's see how it's picking up on the camera. Also, look how cute their like little logo is. Hold on. It's so cute. Okay. It's reading a little bit more like yellowy on screen. It's like I don't know what you want to call this, like an antique rosy color, but light. It's definitely pink. Yeah, but it has like that rosy, almost mauve-y tone, but it's really not purple. And then this blue is picking up a little bit like lighter than it is in real life. It is a really nice soft blue, but it's got it does have, it's a tonal. It's a tonal. It's, I don't know. It's not really, you know, it's not variegated, but it's definitely got the light bits, and it's got some darker blues. Kind of looks like cloud colors. Like, it's like the darker blue of the sky, the almost white of the clouds. Feeling very poetic today. Okay, so we've got this yarn. We have 4 skeins of this called Incognito. It's branded yarns in disguise. It's also a skeins yarn. It is Brittany. Is that the color? That must be the wool name. I don't know. Anyway, it's 100% lamb's wool, 219 meters, which is 250, something like that, yards. So it's a DK weight, for 100 grams. Yeah, 22 stitches on 4 millimeters. You guys, that's what I'm trying to do right now. So this is the DK weight. For the Calm Down cardi, I could use this. But yeah, so this is a gorgeous like charcoal color. It does have like quite a nice like heathery effect. I mean, this is gorgeous. I really, really love this. This may be my favorite yarn in the stack. I don't know. I don't actually know. Those Mama Wooling minis are so cute. Okay. Okay, so I have 4 of those, but let me tell you about this. I can't even tell you about this. I'm like kind of excited also for this one. And Katie really wants to touch this one. I told her on the phone, it's very soft. It's got, feels like it has a little more structure than like a, you know, like than a superwash yarn. I don't think it's a superwash yarn. It's unclear. It seems like there are more non-superwash options. Like that's more standard in these New Zealand yarns. Like if it's superwash, it doesn't even just say SW on it. It says superwash, right? On those couple of hand-dyed skeins I got. This one is another skeins yarn, and it's they're 50-gram little balls. It's what it looks like. It's really pretty, the teal. It's got a really nice luster to it. It's super, super nice. And it is called Blue Bean. It's a 4-ply wool possum blend. I didn't even know, like, I thought possums didn't have hair. I don't actually think I've seen one in real life, like only pictures. They look like naked rat things. I guess they have hair. They must have hair. I didn't know you could harvest hair from possums. I guess that's the better explanation. It's 178 meters for 50 grams. It is, which is that same story as the other one, 350 something. It's got to be close to 400 yards. So it's a fingering weight. I mean, it looks like a fingering weight. Like, that's little. I should have done more research. I thought about it last night after I looked. Katie's like, possum. I was like, it says possum. It says it right here. Like, I'm not making this up. It says wool possum blend. What else could it be? A possum. So I'm going to look it up. Maybe I'll put a small explanation here. But how fun is that? That's like kind of crazy. So we've got like 6 skeins of that. So 3 fingering weight, 100 grams worth, right? So, or I mean, this is like a really light sport. I don't really know. That is very exciting and can be an excellent project. Awesome. Guys, I love it. It's the best. Okay, I had to pause to read about possum yarn because I didn't want to be like not telling you, you know, real facts. I just read a quick article about this. So this is a one internet search worth of information. So if you know more things about possum yarn, please tell us below. But essentially, it's not just like I mean, I guess they're possums, but like they're called the New Zealand brushtail possum. And there are no 100% possum yarns because the hair fibers are too short. But what they do is they blend it, and in these possum blends, which is like the yarn of New Zealand apparently, which I had no idea. Obviously, I've never like shopped for yarn in New Zealand and or bought from a yarn store in New Zealand. So this was my first exposure, right? And so I'm so glad she sent that to us because like how fun. This is like the thing you can get there. Anyway, these brushtail possums are essentially an invasive species. And so I think they got shipped in from somewhere, and like things that you shouldn't just bring to new environments, especially islands. That includes rodents. I don't know. Are possums marsupials? Possibly. Anyway, they are not great in New Zealand, but the yarn is it allows wool to be, it says it adds to wool like to any other fibers that you spin it with, which creates a yarn that is lighter, softer, and warmer than those other fibers on their own, which is very cool. So it's a less, you know, like less dense, more warm kind of sweater yarn. Let's see what else it says here. So even though the possum lives in Australia's tropics, it wears a cool, well, Australia and New Zealand apparently, but it is an Australian native animal. It wears a wool coat that's designed for the North Pole. because the hair shaft is hollow. That is why it's lighter. So even if it gets cold or wet, it still holds in heat, sort of like a double wall thermos. So apparently there are some very limited facts about possums, but possum yarn is a real thing. I'll put up a picture of these possums because they're like kind of cute, but like really, I'm not a huge fan of like wild rodents of any sort. Like stylized pictures of squirrels are cute, but squirrels in my backyard, you know, like they're not cute. They're like gross little monsters, and they're always yelling at my dog. You know, not a big fan. Plus, all my Pacific Northwest viewers will know this, like, there are so many mice. I know there's mice everywhere, but like, we have so many wooded places. Even when you live in the city, there's just so many trees, which I love that there are so many trees, but there are mice. Then no matter what, there are rats and mice. That's, you know, it's not just like, it's not a city because of like a New York City type problem. It's also because of woods problem. That's the thing we all have to deal with. Okay, now we know about some possum yarn. Let me flash this yarn to you again though, because now that you know, now that you are also as educated as me, but hopefully more so, about possum yarn, let's look at this beautiful, beautiful skein. How gorgeous is this? You know, it's funny because it says they have these really short fibers, but I don't see, like, it's got a tiny bit of a halo, but I don't see, you know, it doesn't look like more so than other yarns, right? Like it's got what I would really expect from a wool yarn too, to have that look. It is soft. I mean, I think it's next to skin soft, and I imagine it washes even softer. And this color is like, I said it was teal. I mean, it's like blue. It's really almost the same color. Yeah, it's like a cool blue. I mean, I think blue is always cool, but words. It's Friday. It's Friday, everybody. It's the end of the day. I just need to get this done. Okay. What else do we have to talk about? Just books, and then we're done for today because I don't have any big topics to talk about this week. If there's anything you would like me to cover, talk about, whatever, throw that to me below. There are some things I'd like to talk about eventually, but I just like, there are some conversations I feel like I'm not really ready for it. There's going to open a whole can of worms. But let's see. Anything coming up? Oh, let me tell you. Let me do this after books. Oh, after books. Okay. So, but okay. If you have topics though, I would love to know what you want me to talk about, like just in a short segment, you know, my little Megan's quarter, Megan's opinions. One thing I will cover as we get into the end of the year is like my stash organization. Like, I do use an online tool for it. And my goals for next year, which new tests come out, and you know, my life is loosey-goosey like that. I'm not going to commit myself to a bunch of patterns, even though I have a queue worth of 3 years of patterns, right? But I am not going to just be like, these are it. Even when I buy yarn, you know, I buy enough yarn for certain patterns, and I definitely have them dog-eared for those patterns. But, you know, something could come in that I'm like, that would be better. I'm not going to tie myself to this thing because that, you know, it could actually be better. The other thing, the new thing. And then maybe I'll make that other thing in something else, you know, who knows what would happen. Okay. So I'm still Kindle reading both, the Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. And very slowly. And I'm almost done The Evergreen Air by A.K. Mulford, which I've been calling it the wrong serious name for 5 weeks now, or longer, for all of the weeks, because I think I've been reading them since like the beginning of the podcast. It's called The Crowns of Oakrith. That's what the series is called. The first book is called The High Mountain Court, and I just called it that. The series, The High Mountain Court series, whatever. And The Dragon Reborn is the third Robert Jordan book in the Wheel of Time. and I am 30 or 40% through that, which those are hefty books, so that's pretty good. And then I got A Gathering of Shadows back from the library a lot faster than I had expected, because I went, you know, like went up to the day and then it got auto returned. Which is the Second Shades of Magic book, and it's really entertaining. This is really fun. What's happening in the series right now, and I don't want to give too much away in case people do want to read them, but this one is see, I keep adjusting this, it's driving me nuts. Anyway, this is a really fun series about a world's like multi-universe of Londons, and only one or two people can like travel between them, and they have varying amounts of magic, and we're mostly in the middle magical, the Red London, and the two main characters are not together right now, but their stories are about to merge again, like very soon, and I'm excited for them to see each other again. Okay. Yeah, so this past weekend I got to celebrate my daughter's first birthday. I know I have I think I said this like maybe only in my first episode, so I will just quickly tell you guys again. So in November of last year, so her birthday is in October, the end of October, but in November of last year, my husband and I had been looking to adopt, and we had all our paperwork in, and we were we had a website, you know, all the stuff together, and we found out about Theo when she was already born. So it was a very big surprise. And we had like 2 weeks to get our house ready. We were ready and that we had an empty bedroom, but because we were expecting that we would meet a mom, learn about them, learn about the child to be, and have a couple of months to prepare, we hadn't yet done anything to the nursery. So it was a very quick run around, and she was in the NICU, and she was there for about 6 weeks, and we were there for the second half of her stay. And we got to bring her home when she was not a scary baby. That's what they kept telling us, is we will not let you leave with a scary baby. She was having bradycardia episodes, which just means her heart rate dropped. It's very common for preemies, and she was just, they were trying to get her to gain weight and be able to take bottles, because she was being tube fed when we met her. So all of these things to say, we didn't actually meet her until almost Thanksgiving of last year, like very close to Thanksgiving of last year. So we haven't known her for a whole year, but we got to celebrate her first birthday. We brought her home from the hospital. I was just saying to a friend, like, we basically have tons of dates to celebrate with her, because we brought her home from the hospital in December. You know, we like her birthday, obviously that's a day, but then we also have like the first day we met her, which was right around Thanksgiving. That was also like a huge day for us. Obviously that's the day we became parents. Like, nothing was official yet, you know, no paperwork or anything, but she was ours and we knew we wanted her. But then also we have an official adoption date, so that date is another very fun thing to celebrate. All of the dates that we get to just celebrate being parents, which is really fun. for me, I feel like we're gonna have, you know, cookies on all of the dates, because that's what we're here for. So the birthday party was a roaring success. It's funny, we also had a friend ask us like, oh, or did you tell her that you're throwing her a party? And I was like, she doesn't have any concept for that. Yeah, of course we communicate with her and we talk to her, you know, like normal all the time. Definitely told her she was having a party, but like she has no no understanding of what that means. And she hasn't celebrated a birthday yet, so she is like, didn't know what it was like to be the center of attention like that. She's obviously been to a couple of family functions. She went to another little baby birthday the other week. Her little baby friend, they do play dates together and it's very sweet. But we did have family. We had some friends over. We had her like little baby group there just happened to be, these are friends from like regular life out, you know, pre-baby, that just, we have a lot of friends that happen to have little girls right around the same time. And so we had some of them here for the party, our niece, my husband's best friend's daughter, and various other grown-ups. And I was really not going to sing happy birthday to her. Not because I don't love her and don't want her to have that experience, but I've seen many a kid get very alarmed being the center of attention and being sung at when you're not sure what's going on. And then I feel like they're more skeptical about the cake experience. And I thought if I just put her in the high chair and put the cake in front of her, she would enjoy it more. I stand by, that would have been the better for her solution. But everybody was like, you have to sing to her. And they were like standing around. So we sang. I blew out her candle. She was like, okay, what happens next? But no, she did stick her hands right in that icing, and it was soon all over her face. She wasn't super into the actual cake itself, which not surprising. She did stick her fingers in it. She got a couple of pieces off, but she was way more into the icing. Oh, I need to respond. Somebody asked me for this pumpkin cake recipe, which I'm definitely going to send them. I did a baby-friendly pumpkin cake recipe. It was basically a pumpkin bread with some maple syrup instead of any refined sugar. And then her icing is a whipped cream, or yeah, it's basically whipped cream, cheese, cream cheese block. And then you use a little bit of either icing sugar or regular sugar. And you really don't have to use a lot. It's already like, it's like got a, you know, it's a little more tangy than obviously like a really sweet cream cheese icing, but she doesn't know any different. So it's perfect for her. Like, then I didn't feel as bad for her, like really getting like a bunch of cream cheese in her mouth, because that's really all it was. And yeah, she had a blast. Once she found the middle, it was a 2-tier cake. She found she could run her little baby fist right through the middle where there's more icing. She came with this huge glob, and I was like, okay. Maybe not that much. But we did have some kids in costumes because her birthday is so close to Halloween. We did some costumes, and we did not need gifts for her, but we did ask if people wanted to bring her something, to bring her some baby books. And she is a huge fan of books. And we, as the people that read to her all the time, love the variety of some new books coming in the house. And so we got a lot of really, really great books from everybody, and most of them thankfully are board books, which gives her more books because she also in her little baby bookcase will now pull out books, flip through them herself, and then put them down, right? Like, she's not opening every page. She's definitely like kind of looking at them, but not even really looking at them. She just likes to turn the pages, but then she wants a different one. So she generally just empties her bookcase every time she goes in her room. Which is very fun. But all the paper, like pretty paper books we have right now are out of her reach. And we still read them to her, but then we have to keep them out of her reach because she will just rip them. So that's a baby. Yeah, so it was really nice celebrating her. We had a really great time with everybody. And then my friend was in town. So yeah, not a lot of knitting. We went on a hike. She really wanted to spend some time with Theo, so we were here at the house for a lot of it. We have woods right here behind our house, so we did some walks there too. Hung out with the dog. I did get a little bit of knitting done on one of the days, and because my friend Liz was got a Woobles crochet kit like a while ago during the pandemic, and she never finished working on it, and she wanted me to help be there as her security blanket, which I gotta tell you, those videos were actually really good instructions if you want to learn how to crochet. I've taught a couple of people how to crochet, and it's not always like you forget things. You're like, oh, but like it was, some of the videos were really slow. They're pretty repetitive, but if you're learning a new skill, I think that's what you need, right? And she was doing it on her own. Like, I really didn't instruct her how to do anything. I just like was helping her to read the stitches a little bit and helping her to double count, and just like, she was like, is this weird? Is this what it's supposed to look like? And I was like, yeah, that's good. So it's just, I was there as reassurance only. Yeah, and it was pretty fun. So it's this like, it's a little Pierre the penguin. It's a tiny little blue penguin that you make from the end. And she did complete the body. So she just has to do beak, wings, and the tummy patch when she gets home, and hopefully she finishes it because it's very, very sweet. So that's what I did this week. I will have so much more to talk about next week in the project aspect. But yeah, like, please tell me what you've been working on while I have been chatting with you today. I love everybody's patterns that they're working on. I feel like I'm in Ravelry all the time, and still people are like, oh, I'm working on this thing, and I've never heard of that before. I didn't know that existed. And yeah, let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, I'm also _naughty_mess. And on Ravelry, I am _naughty-mess. The links are below. I would love if you interacted with me. That makes this fun for me. Yes, this video log is mostly for myself, but I am here as your knitting buddy, so I want to take that out of this very two-dimensional me talking to you aspect as well. I hope everybody has a really amazing day, weekend, whenever you're watching this, and I will talk to y'all soon.